So what is nifas? The considered blood of nifas. Because according to the madhab, the blood starts from where? From when? Yeah, when it relates to the delivery from 3 to 1 day. If there is a blood that is related to it, that is preceding to it, and continues until it reaches it, then this blood is nifas, post-natal blood. But what we find is that the blood of nifas is considered to be a blood of nifas at the time that a woman gives birth. This blood is the blood of nifas. The post-natal blood is this blood. Okay? ولهذا قال هنا في تعريفه وهو الدم الخارج بسبب الولادة, and that is the blood that flows out because of childbirth. So any blood that precedes to it is not considered. So we call it dam fasad, a void, unconsidered blood. Meaning that she won't have to compensate for prayers or fasting. Okay? Because according to the madhab, she has to compensate for prayers, and also she has to compensate for fasting. And whole man can't intercourse with it. That's what they are saying. But the defenders of opinion, inshallah, that it is not a post-natal blood. Okay. What about what he is saying that its longest duration is 40 days, and there is no limit for the shortest. Now we say that the last part of this compound sentence is that by consensus that there is no a minimum for its shortest period. But what about the first sentence of this two sentences? Its long duration is 40 days. First of all, what is their evidence? What is their evidence? Anybody knows? Pardon? No, we have facts. There's no verse that says that it's 40. But we have في سنة أبي داود كذلك عند الإمام أحمد عن أم سلمة رضي الله عنها واسمه هند بنت أبي أمية, that he says that a post-natal woman needs to stay at the era of the Prophet for 40 days. That's what he is reporting. That's why the majority adhere to this opinion. However, Shafi rahimahullah is saying that this is a specific case occurred during the era of the Prophet and Salama reported it. But in fact, women can continue until 50 days. So the longest period, the longest duration is 60 days according to Shafi. But by modern medical knowledge, it usually lasts 38 to 42, sometimes to 45 days. And modern medical knowledge asserts that. Okay? And we go with this because it's based on experiment. It's an empirical case. And if you say that, and we go with the Shafi rahimahullah, when he says that this is a specific case. This is a specific case occurred, so in Salama reported it. So she's not talking about a general rule, but she's talking about a specific case that occurred during the Prophet's time, and she's saying what she witnessed. Okay? What about this? And if it returns within the period of 40 days, it will still be considered nifas. What about this? So do we agree? We're saying after 38 days, we should go to her physician, to a doctor, and ask him. But before that, we're going to consider it to be nifas. Okay? We're going to consider it to be nifas. And this is the كانوا خلقناكم يعني. Okay, so that's what we covered. But كتاب الصلاة we didn't cover. Okay, so what is كتاب الصلاة? Okay, do you remember the categorization that that usually authors, classic authors, that they usually divide their books into how many categories when they want to write? Because the method, the research method that we use in order to provide our research nowadays is different from even in the Islamic studies. It's different from the books that they use to, or the method that they use to write their books. So what is their way of writing? So they start with the book, and then the bab, and then al-fasl, and then the method. What is the difference? What is the difference between them? The book talks about what? Pardon? Yes, the topic that we're going to discuss. موضوع. And then they move to have a heading that is called bab. You can translate it as a chapter. So what is chapter? What is bab? Yes, brother. Yes, please. Right. So we go to subdivide this topic, to break it down. So when you break it down, you're going to have different branches. These branches are the bab, the chapters. Okay? كتاب الطهارة. This is the topic. Within it, we're going to discuss the bab al-miyah, bab al-hayd, bab al-nifas, bab al-miyah, bab al-nawaqid al-wudu. Wow. Okay? Then after that, we're going to have fasl. What is the benefit of fasl? You can call it elaborated separation. So to pick specific topic within the chapter, then you elaborate on it. Then you move to masala if you want to elaborate more. To isolate specific items within the book, within the fasl, then you elaborate even more. Okay, so كتاب الصلاة وما أدراك ما الصلاة. الصلاة. The last advice that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave while he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was striving before he gave his last breath alayhi salatu wasalam. الصلاة وما ملكت أيمانكم. الصلاة. I urge you to protect it, to maintain it, to preserve it, to perform it. الصلاة وما ملكت أيمانكم. It is the last advice that he gave sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's the last scene that he saw the Sahaba radiallahu anhum while they were gathering. When he opened the curtain that separates his masjid sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his home from his masjid, while he was in the house of Aisha radiallahu anha, he saw them. And he had smiled. He smiled. That's the achievement. We are gathered, worshiping Allah and Allah alone. So he smiled. This is the achievement. We can't resist. So the one who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the best and the first implementational pillar of Islam is Salah and Hisab. So they are worshiping Allah and Allah alone, and they are performing the pillar of what He was inviting them to do. That's why He smiled about this. It is the pillar of Islam. Salah, its merit, fadl, virtue is indescribable. if we want to take it in the Islamic context. That's why when Waqt Bani Saqif, a delegation from Saqif during the era of al-Wujud, the year of delegations, which year? What is the year of delegations? Delegations from all over Arabia came to the Prophet ﷺ to give bay'ah and to tell him. Yes, so it is in the eighth year or in the ninth. It's in the ninth year. That's why the Prophet ﷺ didn't perform Hajj that year, and he sent Abu Bakr because he was busy with this. However, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حَجُّ الْبَيْتِ was revealed before the time of Hajj. And according to the majority, al-amr al-fawriyya. When you have a commandment, it's immediate. It has to be implemented, applied immediately. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't apply it immediately because the Prophet ﷺ was busy with whom? With the delegation. That's first. Secondly, the house of Allah was filled with idols. وَلِهَذَا أَرْسَلَ, so that he ﷺ sent Abu Bakr, and he told him that أخبرهم أن لا يطوفن بالبيت مشرك ولا غيره. Until the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until the Kaaba and its surrounding was cleaned up, he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam performed it. So, during this time, Waqt Saqif, a tribe came from Ta'if to the Prophet alayhi wa sallam. They came to him, because Umar ibn Khattab, he converted to Islam when he was while the Prophet ﷺ was returning from Mecca to Medina. He met the Prophet ﷺ. He converted, alhamdulillah, then he returned to his people, Bani Saqif. And he was respected among them. And he tried to convert them, but they rejected him and eventually they killed him. During the 9th year, they came to the Prophet ﷺ in order to make bay'ah. So they sent 4 people as a delegation. Then after that, they sent behind them 4 people also. Then Sa'd was among them, and he was the youngest among them. To make the story short, one of the points that they were negotiating, one of the provisions that they were negotiating with the Prophet ﷺ, they said to him, okay, we're going to believe in Allah. We're going to believe in what you are saying. But we have some conditions. First of all, we don't want to make salah. We can't. How can we make our products above our faces? Can't do that. Can't do that. Because I want you to know that you put the most honorable part of your body where? On the ground. On the ground you put it. So they say, no, we can't. That's unbearable. We can't do it. So the Prophet ﷺ says to them, there's no benefit of a religion without a proof, meaning without submission, without subur, without humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not a religion. So salah is the core of ibadah, because it includes salah. All of your body is engaged and performing the ibadah. The tongue, eyes, limbs, everything. But unfortunately, we are focusing on the outer part of our body. But what about our hearts and the prayer? And that's the core of it. But in fiqh, we study the outer part, the action, the implementational part of it. So it is crucial it is crucial. الصلاة وما ملكت أيمانكم. It is the pillar of Islam, as what the Prophet ﷺ told Mu'adh bin Jabal رضي الله عنه. ألا أدلك على رأس الأمر وعموده وذروة سنامه. رأس الأمر الإسلام وعموده الصلاة وذروة سنامه الجهاد في سبيل الله. الرجل الترمذي عنه رضي الله عنه. مسجد إسماعيل بن عماس عنه رضي الله عنه. So it is the pillar of Islam. It is the pillar. So I want you to imagine that now you have a tent. If you pull down the pillar, are you going to have a tent? No. So this is the same for Islam. If you don't have Salah, you don't have Islam anymore. You don't have Islam anymore. What is the definition of Salah? Linguistically speaking, Salah is a connection. To connect. وصل الشيء بالشيء بمعنى ضمه إليه وربطه إليه أو به. يصح أن تؤديه بإله أو تؤديه بالباء. ربطه إليه أو ربطه به. So to have a connection with whom? In our context, with Allah. With Allah. To have a connection with Him. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we don't like usually to translate it in the translated courses. We don't use relationship. Christians say when you believe in Jesus, you're going to feel the relationship, right? You're going to feel it. The Holy Ghost will come to you, and you're going to be blessed, and you're going to feel the relationship. But what about the connection? You're looking for the connection. I want to connect to Him. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, this is imaginary. It's not real. So, linguistically speaking, prayer means to connect. And also means, linguistically speaking, to pray means to make dua. الدعاء. خذ من أموالهم صدقة تطهرهم وتزكيهم بها وصل عليهم. ادع لهم. كما قال عبد الله بن أبي أوفى رضي الله عنه كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أتي بالصدقة قال اللهم صل على آل ابن أبي أوفى. صل عليهم. Meaning, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم is praying for them. ومن الأعراب من يتخذ ما ينفق ومن الأعراب من يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ويتخذ ما ينفق قربات عند الله وصلوات الرسول على إنها قربة الله. So, Salah means also to make dua. So the Salah will connect you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through what? Through the core of it, which is dua. And dua has different meanings. One of them is al-munajat. Munajat, to whisper. To people. That's why when we say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allah Jalla wa Ala will respond to you by saying what? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. أثنى عليه. مالك يوم الدين. مجدا عبده. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. قال هذه بيني وبين عبدي نصفين ولعبدي ما سأل. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قال هذا لعبدي ولعبدي ما سأل. نسأل الله من فضله. So, this is the linguistic meaning of it. What about its juristic meaning? In the Islamic terminology, what do we mean by saying salah? Because usually, like what we usually say, that we need a conceptual definition, right? In order to distinguish things, objects, concepts from other things. Because everything we see has a meaning in the meaning that we give to it. Either a concrete definition, which we usually call operational definition, or a conceptual definition. Things that mean ideas, mental constructs that we give to ideas. So these mental constructs are what we call definitely. So I'm asking you now, when we speak about Salah in its Islamic context, what do we mean by it? Yes, brother. Now, if he wants to define prayer to a non-Muslim, let's say, he would distinguish it. So when he sees one face praying, he will know that he is praying. So what is prayer? Again, with its translation. It's a ibadah, it's a worship. Okay? So it's a worship. Meaning, when you say that it's a worship, you can't do it for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ مَنْ عَمِلَ عَمَلًا أَشْرَكَ فِيهِ مَعِي غَيْرِي تَرَكْتُهُ وَشِرْكَهُ. Okay? So, at the first point, it is a worship. And it's actually the core of worship. Like what we just, aforementionedly say. So it's a worship. Therefore, it needs English. It needs intention. And this intention to specify it, that I am going to pray, and it's also to say that this worship is for Allah. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. So the first one, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ بِاعْتِبَارِ الْعَمَلِ وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى باعتبار العمل المنوي. So when you say إنما عمل بالنيات, now you specify that this is صلاة الظهر, العصر, this is فرض or نفل. And it's also وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. So you have to specify it for Allah. You have to intend it that you will serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning that you can specify that this is صلاة الظهر, but you don't perform a worship. Why? Because you are praying for others to see. Right? So this is not a worship. Although its outer aspect is a worship. Secondly, it's an ibadah. So it's a specific ibadah, like what we just mentioned. Meaning, it's prescribed. Right? It's prescribed. But we have other ibadah that is not prescribed, that are not prescribed. Like what? Pardon? No, they are prescribed. Because we are told how to pray them. Right? But we are told how to give prayer. Right? And we are encouraged to do it. Right? But if you want to donate online, through your hands, directly, at whatever means you have. And with whatever meaning you have. So it's not prescribed. Okay? So it's specific about it, meaning it's prescribed. Second or thirdly. Yes. So it includes actions and sayings. Actions to the body and sayings to the tongue. Both. Fourth? Yeah. So it starts with takbir and it ends with taslim. Why we need with taslim? Because Ibn Hazm rahimahullah argues that a taslim is not part of the prayer, but it's a sign to tell that you have finished the prayer. Therefore, if you finish it with any action, that would be sufficient. But you say, no, it's part of the prayer. Okay? So this is the prayer. Now we know what we're talking about. He says, rahimahullah, Salah, prayer, is the greatest and most important of the devotional deeds. This is asserted by the Prophet, peace be upon him, as he said, and know that the best of your deeds is the Salah. خير أعمالكم الصلاة. يقول عليه الصلاة والسلام. الصحيح. It is offered 5 times a day, and is mandatory upon every Muslim who attains the age of puberty. Okay, so now we're talking about, now we have the prayer and we know that it's mandatory. But Upon who? Upon who? Because we know in Islam the rulings, al-ahkam, because when we speak about حكم ruling, وهو ما دل عليه كتاب الشارع المتعلق بأفعال المكلفين من طلب وتكفير ووضع. So, المكلف, who is the one that the prayer is mandatory upon him? Okay, so first of all, now we know that it's a mandatory. It's wajib. It's wajib. Meaning, إذا فعله العبد يثاب، وإذا تركه يعاقب. وهو ما طلبه الشارع طلبا جازما. Okay? الشارع أسقط كمان فاسقدوه. Okay? You say they are offered 5 times a day. Unanimously. By consensus. That Allah commanded us to pray 5 times a day. Every Muslim has to pray 5 times a day. Every Muslim has to pray 5 times a day. What is the evidence? We can deduce it from the Quran, while it's very clear in the Sunnah. It is stated in the Sunnah. In the Quran, يقول الله جل وعلا: أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الليل. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس. Perform the prayer when the sun goes to the west. Okay, when it starts to go, when it moves from the zenith to the west, from your zenith, from your meridian to the west. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس. Then it says إلى غسق الليل, until the twilight of night. The first would include what? Zuhr and Asr, because it says إلى غسق الليل. إلى. So meaning the thing that is after إلى is not included. Right? أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل. Then he says سبحانه وتعالى إلى غسق الليل. So إلى غسق الليل would include what? المغرب and العشاء. Because the time of al-Maghrib will start when the sun sets. So it's quiet. Then when the red color of the sky, what we call the shibr, goes, disappears, then the time of Isha will commence. So so they are included. Then he says, what Quran is. Okay, and he uses the expression of Quran because it is recited longer than the other prayers. وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. By the end, it's witnessed by the end. وتعقبون فيكم ملائكة بالليل والنهار. So in the Quran, it's mentioned. And this interpretation is the interpretation of Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu. عبر هذه الأمة وترجمان القرآن. اللهم فقهه بالدين وعلمه التأويل. And then in the Sunnah, you have a lot of ahadith. One of them, كما يصح مسلم, أعرابي بدو came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, أنشدك الله بعدك على أن نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأنك رسول الله. قال اللهم نعم. قال أنشدك الله أمرك أن نصلي 5 صلوات في اليوم والليلة. قال اللهم نعم. And this will be what he said, Allahumma na'am. Yes, Allah has sent me to command you that to pray 5 times a day until you die, until you have your brain with you. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Mu'adh bin Jabal to Yemen, فأخبرهم أن الله فرض عليه 5 صلوات في كل يوم. بينما جابوا لك بذلك واصبروا ان الله افترض عليهم صدقه تؤخذ من اغنيائهم فتردوا على بطلان. That's what we need. When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sends Mu'adh bin Jabal, it's Sahih, the Bukhari Muslim, it's read it. He said to him, tell them that Allah commanded them, that Allah made obligatory upon them to pray 5 times a day. When they answer you to that, when they accept that, then you can tell them that they need to pray with. But they have to accept that in order to move to the third step. Okay? So in the Sunnah it's very clear. The scholars, however, differ in terms of the time that the prayer was mandated, was obligatory, when what is commanded to pray. The majority agree that the Prophet ﷺ prayed in Mecca. And he also made wudu, as what we mentioned, as we related to be the Prophet The Prophet ﷺ prayed in Mecca. And it is clear that he prayed the dawn prayer and also an Isha prayer, the evening prayer. He prayed them, alayhi salatu wasalam. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَاسْجُدْ لَهُ وَسَبِّحْهُ لَيْلًا طَوِيلًا. And this is the voluntary prayer that were obligatory upon him, alayhi salatu wasalam. But it was commanded upon him. They were obligatory upon him when? In Isra. So this prayer was obligatory, this ibadah, and it's the only ibadah that was commanded where? In the heavens. In the heavens. Allahu Akbar. You see? It's a great ibadah. It's a great, Allah loves this ibadah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves this ibadah. He loves it subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he commanded this prayer to be where? In the heavens. And you know the story that first of all it was commanded how many? 50, until it was reduced to 5. When the Prophet ﷺ used to go to frequent between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Musa. When Musa was in what heaven? In the sixth, he was frequenting between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Musa until it was reduced. And when he sallallahu finished with it, Musa said to him, even return to Allah, ask him to reduce it because I was struggling with my ummah. لقد عرفت الناس. I was struggling with them. So, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, I'm trying to return to my God, to my Lord. لقد استحييت من ربي. Then, when he صلى الله عليه وسلم went, he heard a voice. لقد أمضيت فريضتي. Allah Jalla wa Ala. Okay? So it's obligatory where? In the heavens. He says, rahimahullah, it's mandatory upon every Muslim by consensus. There is no disagreement. Unanimously. بقوله تعالى وأقم الصلاة وأقيموا الصلاة. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس. Okay? So Allah Jalla wa Ala commands us to pray. Every Muslim. So it's not obligatory upon the disbeliever, the non-Muslim, or kafir. But is he مخاطب بها? Is he addressed? Is he or she addressed that he or he needs to pray? Meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask him on the day of judgment, why do you not pray? Why don't you pray? Okay? The scholars differ in this matter. Malik rahimahullah, because they agreed all that they are addressed, they are asked to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. However, for al-Imam, Malik rahimahullah says yes. Meaning that Allah Jalla wa Ala will ask him on the day of judgment, why don't you pray? And it's also one of the opinions of the Shafi'i rahimahullah. And it's one of the two opinions of Ahmad rahimahullah. What is their evidence? Yes. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى حاكيا قول المشركين أنهم يسألون فيقال لهم ما سلككم في سقر? Why are you in the hellfire? What is the first answer for them to say? لم نكن من المصلين. لم نكن مصلين. We were not among those who pray. لم نكن من المصلين. ولم نكن نطعم المسكين. So these فروع الإيمان. Right? All that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا مثل الذين كفروا بربهم أعمالهم كرماد اشتدت به الريح في يوم عاصف لا يقدرون مما كسبوا على شيء. So it's not beneficial for you. But Allah Ta'ala will ask them. Will hold them accountable. They will be held accountable. Why you don't pray? Why you don't pray? Although that their prayers won't be accepted even if they pray there until they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they pray day and night while they don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or they believe in Him but they associate partners with Him, that won't be beneficial for them. It won't be beneficial for them. من عمل عملا أشرك فيه معي غيري تركته وشركه. تركته وشركه. It's not beneficial. Okay? And also, they will be asked about the food that they are eating. Because they didn't perform shukr. They didn't thank Allah ta'ala. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق قل هي للذين آمنوا في الحياة الدنيا خالصة يوم القيامة. So it is allowable for the believers to get benefit of it, to benefit from what we have created, from what we have sustained, from what we have provided. But in the day of judgment, it is only special for those who believe in it. Meaning that they share it here, but it's not allowable for them to have it, to get benefit of it. يقول سبحانه وتعالى ليس على الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جناح فيما طعموا. Meaning, therefore this belief, they have جناح. لأن هذا يسمى عند العلماء يكون مفهوم لقب، مفهوم نص، ليس مفهوم لقب. Because it's related to the meaning of Iman. So we find them, Salah, although it's not obligatory upon anybody until he accepts Islam, but in the day of judgment, he will be asked, why you don't pray? Why you don't pray? And he says, Rahimahullah, who attained the age of puberty. Who attained the age of puberty. What is the age of puberty? Or before that, how do we determine the age of puberty? I think we mentioned this message. Yes, brother. Mm-hmm. Okay. From 10 for the senior. But what about the male? According to the majority, 15. Minus 18. Okay? But we go with 15. What is our evidence? Brother Saidi. Just to make sure that you write down. Because you are sitting way behind. So we need to make sure. Abdullah bin Umar because he was not approved to join the army in the Battle of Puberty because his age was 14. And the year after, for for the battle of Al-Ahzab, confederation, he approved him because he is now 15, and that's what he says. It's Sahih. Why? Because in the Islamic army, if you are under the age of puberty, it's not allowed for you to join. Until you have a specific skill, if you have a specific talent, then you will be pushed. What is our evidence? Our evidence is what happened during the Ghazwa of al-Ahzab. That some of us, Jabir ibn Samar radiallahu anhu, was older than Rabi' ibn Khadij. So he was accepted because his age was the age that is acceptable. Rabi' ibn Khadij radiallahu anhu said, "Oh Rasulullah, why do you prove him? If I quarrel with him, I will defeat him. Then the Prophet, while his age was less than 15. So the Prophet said, do not do it. Good. Give it a fight. So he quarreled with him and he defeated him. So the Prophet accepted him to be in the army. So if you have a specific skill, specific talent, you will be accepted, you will be approved even if you are less than 15. But the standard is 15. It's 15. So the age of puberty is 15. Or ejaculation for man or women, boy and girl. What is the third? Yes, specifically, there goes to be what? Menstruation. But this menstruation has to happen when? According to the public opinion, after 10. Not after now, after 10. Okay? Also, we have one. So we say ejaculation, ejaculation, the age of 15, and also, yes, the hair. Not the armpit hair, but what is it called? Puberty? Yes, pubic, yes, pubic. The pubic hair. What is our evidence? What happened during the battle of Banu Qurayza? And the Prophet checked them. Those he considered those to be old, Tarihun, if they have hair. If they don't, they are not. Okay? So these are the 4 things that we decide the age of puberty. But the age of puberty is the age would make the prayer to be obligatory. But a child, for me, can say, as long as he aware. And so, aware and knowledge of what he's doing. What is our evidence? Pardon? نعم يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مروهم بالصلاة للفجر واضربوهم عليها بالعشر. Command them, meaning the children, command them to pray when they reach 7, and spank them, discipline them when they are at the age of 10. So when they are at the age of 7, now they can pray. But we sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us that at the age of 7 we command them because that now they start to understand. But you're going to find people who are at the age of 10 and they don't understand. Right? You're going to find some children at the age of 10, if you go with them to the supermarket and ask them to bring some food, some groceries for you, he won't know how to do it. Okay? And unless you go with them and monitor them and see what they are doing. So the Prophet ﷺ told us the age of 7 because that's the average. That people usually at this age, children usually at this age, يفهمون الخطاب ويردون الجواب. Okay? But if he is less than 7 and he understands what he's doing, then he can pray. He can pray. And if he is more than 7 but he does not understand what he's doing, he can't pray. So we don't command him. No, we don't command him. But usually children at the age, they understand. Okay? So, بكل بالغ عاقل. If a person reaches the age of puberty and his mind is intact, he understands or she understands, then he or he has to pray. If he is a Muslim. Okay? بكل مسلم بالغ عاقل. Okay. This chapter is intended to illustrate, I think we didn't start the right? Condition. Okay. Yeah, but this is not the speech of the author. This chapter is intended to illustrate, because you know also from the language. This is not the classical language. We don't speak it this way. This chapter is intended to illustrate. So yeah. This is what the author wrote, but these are from the editors. Okay, so that's what he translated. روى عبادة بن الصامت رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول 5 صلوات كتبهن الله على عباده اليوم والليلة فمن حافظ عليهن كان له واحد عند الله يدخله الجنة ومن لم يحافظ عليهن لم يكن له عند الله عهد إن شاء عذبه وإن شاء غفر له. عبادة بن الصامت من الله to them reported that he heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, 5 prayers Allah dictated on the servants every day and night. He who diligently observes them will have a covenant with Allah that He will admit him into paradise, and he who does not diligently observe them will have no covenant with Allah. If He will torment him, and if He will forgive him. قال فالصلوات الخمس واجبة على كل مسلم عاقل بالغ إلا الحائض والنفساء. Therefore, the 5 prayers are mandatory upon every adult sane Muslim except for the menstruating women or the one having postpartum bleeding. Okay, and we explain this. And he's saying for the menstruating women, what is the evidence, Brother Muhammad? What is the evidence that the menstruating women can't pray? And if she prays thousands of times, it won't be accepted. Why? Yeah. So what is the how would you use this evidence to prove the case here? Yes. So هذا من عبد الله. When we came to Aisha radiallahu anha, he said, why we endure the menstrual period, why is it not allowed to us to pray and fast? So what she answered to her, what she said, are you from those extremists? Haruriyah? Then what she said? She said, no, I'm not from those, but I want to know why. And she said to her, it should be accurate to us, and we were commanded to compensate for fasting, but not a prayer. Okay? So this is the evidence. والرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول عائشة إذا حاضت لم تصلي ولم تصم. So by analogy, unanimously, that the postpartum women also can pray, because like what you say, every ruling for menstruating women will be applied to postpartum women. The same, they are the same ruling. Okay. قال فمن جحد وجوبها لجهله عرف ذلك وإن جحد عنادا كفر والعياذ بالله. So, whoever rejects its obligation out of ignorance should be dictated of it. If he rejects it out of the boldness, he becomes a disbeliever. See? So now we have two things. If one says that there is no such a thing in Islam that is called prayer, or if he says yes, in Islam there is a prayer, but it's not obligatory. If you want to pray, pray. If you don't want, Allah will forgive you. Allah is the most merciful. Okay? If he says that, and he does not miss even a prayer. He prays every single prayer. But he's saying, he believes that Allah does not make it obligatory. Allah does not command us to pray. By consensus, there is no disagreement among scholars from all schools of thought, or even those who were not considered among the sects of the Ummah, like al-Hululiyya, al-Ittihadiyya. Even those agree that if you deny the obligation of prayer, you are no longer a Muslim. Why? Yeah, okay. It's yeah. Yes, الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول وأقيموا الصلاة. الله سبحانه يقول وأقيموا الصلاة. قالوا لم نكن من المصلين. فإن تابوا وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة فإخوانكم في الدين. فإن تابوا وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة فخلوا سبيله. Because he is denying an statutory knowledge in Islam. This is المعلوم من الدين بالضرورة. Every Muslim knows that. So if you say, even if we pray, but we say it's not obligatory, by consensus, there is no disagreement among scholars from all facts. Madahib, the four schools of thought, juristic thought, and also outside of it. Outside the kind of sunnah even. All they agree that by consensus, if you deny the obligation of salah, you have to be educated, you have to be told that it's obligatory. The evidences have to be provided to you. And if he denies, he denies, he is no longer a Muslim. He can't be a Muslim because he denies the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? By consensus. But if he rejects it, because, yes, brother. What do you mean? And we say, why you don't like to pray? That's the question. If you say, yes, I know that it's obligatory, but I'm lazy. Allah is merciful. Make dua for me. This is not another issue, and we're going to discuss it inshallah. But if you pray, not only the 5 prayers, but also pray at night, at night, and Qiyam al-Layl, and he prays Sunnah al-Ratiba. But he says that it's not obligatory. I deny that, I reject that. By consensus, there is no scholar of Islam. Even though they taste the knowledge of Islam. You know that if you reject that, you reject the Quran. You deny the Quran. You say that there is no such a thing in the Quran. You see? So, but the other thing is that if he rejects it as a result of ignorance, because he just converted. He just accepted Islam. And he says, well, I have my theory about Islam. And, I found Islam very good. And, I like how people gather, I like, brotherhood. I like, cooperation. compassion that I see among Muslims. We just count some of the things that we see positive. But these implementational aspects of Islam, such as Salah, are things that legalistic. It has to come from the heart. It has to come from the heart. You see, yes, we agree. So what do you want to conclude? Therefore, Salah is not obligatory. It's not obligatory. Now, we say he has to be educated. This man has to be educated, introduced to the rulings of Islam, how we Muslims deduce our rulings and derive the ahkam of Islam. So he has to be educated. After he is educated and he knows what every Muslim believes in, they continue to deny that. So we don't insult you, but you can't be a Muslim. This is not Islam. You want to accept it? That's cool. That's for you, not for us. That's for you. If you don't, you can't say, well, I will accept Islam, like when it's Aqeed. Aqeed says, we would accept Islam. We don't have any problem. This idea of not accepting any party is very clear to us. That's what Abu Zubyar. Abu Zubyar, until the last minute of the Allah. The messenger of the Prophet ﷺ was difficult for him to accept. But associating persons with Allah, it was very clear to him. When he was brought by Al-Abbas, he believed that if those idols would benefit him, they would benefit him at this moment. So he said, وَمَاذَا تُغْنِي عَنِّي? Then the Prophet ﷺ said, أَتَشْهَدُ أَنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ? Do you bear witness that I am the messenger of Allah? They said, أَنَّهَا أَجِيبَ مَا يَزَاكِ وَقَلْبِ مِنْهَا. I still have doubt. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say to him, well, okay. No, you have to accept that in order to be a Muslim. If you want to be a Muslim, that's a condition. So you can't just come and say, well, I will accept Islam the way that I want. When you produce a new Islam that fits you. No. This is Islam. You would like to accept it, alhamdulillah. That's beneficial for you. If you don't, we really encourage you and invite you, but we can change the religion for you to be accepted. Okay? So after he is educated, after he is told that Islam commands, makes it very, very clear that it's mandatory, obligatory upon us to pray. Do you accept that? And he says, yes, alhamdulillah. Now he understands. Now he understands what Islam is. But he says, no, I don't accept that. He says, you're not Islam. This is not Islam. This is not Islam. You want to adhere to Islam in your imagination, you're free to do that. But Islam is not that. Islam is not that. But if he rejects it out of stubbornness, he becomes a disbeliever. Okay? So he's not a believer. We say to him that you are not a believer, according to the Islamic terminology. Islamically speaking, you are not a believer. Because Islam is not only to believe in God's existence, because Abu Jahl believes in that. Abu Lahab believes in that. Umayyah ibn Khalaf believes in that. Even Fir'aun, Pharaoh, believes in that. وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا فَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُم ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًّا. وَلَوْ سَأَلْتَهُم مَنْ خَلَقَهُم, if you ask them, who created you? What would be the answer? Allah, لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهُ. وَلَوْ سَأَلْتَهُم مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ لَيَقُولُنَّ خَلَقَهُنَّ الْعَزِيزُ الْعَلِيمُ. So they believe in that. They don't have any problem with that. But the problem is that when he says, okay, because he created you and you believe in that, now worship him and worship him alone. That's the problem. All the prophets, by the way, didn't come to their people to invite them to believe in the existence of Allah. Yes, they utilize this as an evidence for what they are calling for. But they didn't invite them essentially for this. They invite them to the oneness, to monotheism. Monotheism, to what? The oneness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't associate partners with Allah. So Islam is not just to believe in the existence of Allah. All of those who the Prophet ﷺ taught them, invited them, who taught them, they all believed in Allah. They didn't have any problem with it. The reason that they said, okay, Muhammad, that's the reason for the revelations of Qudamah or Kafirun. They said to him, okay, we're going to worship your God a year, and we're going to worship our God a year. Okay? And you know, قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. لكم دينكم الشرك ولي دين. They are different. So if you want to accept Islam as it was revealed, as it was propagated, as it was disseminated, this is Islam. And we are really encourage you for the benefit of you. If you don't want to accept that, if you adamantly and continuously reject that, you're not a Muslim. Because Islam is not our religion. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. This is the Islamic standard for you to be a Muslim. If you don't want to accept that, based on this definition, you're not a Muslim. Like if someone says, well, I like to be a communist. Then he tries to modify the communist ideas in order to fit his previous ideology. Then he would produce a new communism and he would call it communism. If you ask those ideologues, those who agree to it, the theorists of it, they will say he's not a communist, even if he calls himself a communist. So the idea has to be accepted as it is. If you don't accept it, you say, I don't like it. I will produce something new, and I will derive some ideas from other ideologies and other ideas. But you can't say that this is what I want. Like Muhammad al-Quran, have you heard of him? He said, look, I will accept Islam, but I will renew it. I will renew Islam. I am a reformer of Islam. What do you want to say? You say, okay, first of all, my first renewal idea is that Quran is writing a clear protest. Okay, this is not Islam. This is Muhammad al-Quran Islam. This is your Islam. You want to agree to that? But this is not the Islam that the Prophet ﷺ invited us to believe in. And it's not the Islam that the Sahaba told us about. قال رحمه الله ولا يحل تأثيرها عن وقت وجودها إلا لنا وجمعها ومشتغل بشرطها. This is the probably mistake. إلا لنا this mistake. ولا يحل تأثيرها عن وقت وجودها إلا لناو جمعها أو مشتغل بشرطها. نعم. That is right but they have to be close. Okay? إلا لناو جمعها أو مشتغل بشرطها. Yes, it is not permissible to disperse beyond its mandated time except for one who intends to combine it or one who is busy fulfilling its conditions. So, it cannot be delayed. So they have to be prayed on time, punctually. Because Allah Jalla wa Ala assigns these times. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى أقم الصلاة like what we أقم الصلاة بدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر وقال إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا يعني مؤقتا. So they want to be performed on time, not combined whenever I want. Yeah. Like I said, you want to accept Islam, this is what Allah Jalla wa Ala commands us. Because that's the meaning of worship. To worship Allah Jalla wa Ala as what He wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because that's what He wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He said that I want you to pray on the specific time. And He provided through His Messenger alayhi salatu. ولهذا قال ولا يحل تأخيرها. It's not permissible. unanimously. إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. to defer beyond its mandated time, except that we have specific conditions. For one who intends to combine it, meaning that you combine الظهر إلى العصر. الظهر النهاريتان أو الليليتان. So you combine الظهر to or with العصر. Or العصر in the time of ظهر. You combine المغرب with العشاء in the time of المغرب. Or you combine العشاء with المغرب in the time of العشاء. This is what we call combination, al-jam'. And the jam' is allowed when it's needed. It's not necessary to be while you're traveling. You can combine even when you're visiting. It's not necessary to be a traveler. So under the heavy rain, is it allowed for us to combine? Yes. If someone is sick, he can combine. Al-mustahaba, he can combine. Right? So, if you want to delay it, to pray it out of its time, of its specific time, it is allowed if you want to combine, and there is a need for that, then you can delay it, or pray it before its time. And Abu Hanifa rahimahullah finds that a jam' combination is what we usually say, it's not real. It's not real. A jam' means to delay the prayer before and before the end of its time. So you delay al-Maghrib before the end of its time. When you finish Salat al-Maghrib, then when the time of al-Isha commences, you pray. So it's Suri, you say. It's Suri. How would you translate Suri? Okay? Pardon? Okay. No, it's not a mentor. Yeah, I would like to use it. It's not real. Virtual, exactly. Yes, virtual. It's a virtual combination. It's not real. Okay? You delay the time, you delay the prayer of a Dhuhr until the end of its time. When you pray it, then when the time of Al-Asr commences, you pray them. So you pray it when it's a virtual combination. It's not real. However, the majority goes against the situation. Okay? You can combine them. And beyond its mandated time, except one who intends to combine it, or one who is busy fulfilling its condition. For example, if someone does not have a pure place to pray, okay, and there are only 10 minutes for Salat al-Dhuhr for Salat al-Dhuhr's time to end. And if he goes to purify the place, the time, he will pray, he will delay the prayer. What the scholars say, what the authors say, is that he can do that because he is busy fulfilling the condition, which is the purity of the place, the purity of the place where you pray. He's saying you can do that. However, Malik rahimahullah and Shafi'i rahimahullah says, if you are going to delay the prayer until it gets out of its time, you pray it the way that you are, the way you are. You pray it on any condition, with any condition you are. Why? Because the most important thing, the most important condition is the time. Is the time. That's why it is allowable for us to use tayammum. Right? It's allowable for us to use tayammum, even though that we know that maybe in an hour we're going to have water. But because the prayer will be out of its time, will be performed out of its time, it is allowed for us to have training, to do training. And we go with this. Because, so, it is not allowed for us to delay the prayer for any reason. Yes, beyond its time. That's what we're talking about. It is not allowed for us to delay the prayer beyond its time. Unless for combination. It is allowed for us to delay the prayer beyond its time if we are intending to confine it. Otherwise, it's not allowed. You pray the way that you are. And this is the opinion of Malik rahimahullah, and it's the opinion of Shafi'i rahimahullah. Okay? And inshallah we're going to continue next week inshallah. Or you want us to just complete this sentence? Okay. So next week inshallah. Or on Monday. Yes, brother. Now it's the time for tonight. Yes, brother. Is there a microphone? For the sister Kabir. Yeah, for the sister Kabir. Okay, so. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you have to stop the food unanimously. حتى ابن القيم الإجماع على هذا. ابن القيم رحمه الله relates the إجماع consensus. ولهذا فإن هناك شرطين. That we have two conditions that when you have the food, يقول إذا حضر الطعام وحضرت العشاء إذا حضر الطعام وحضرت العشاء وحضرت العشاء يعني صلاة العشاء فابدأوا بالطعام. The first condition that all scholars agreed upon is that as long as that you don't pray beyond the time. Unanimously, there's no disagreement. The second condition where the disagreement occurs is that is it allowed for us to pray, to be satisfied, or just to use the things that would not make you think about the truth, that you pray in khushu' or with khushu'. Al-Madhab says, yes, you can eat until you are satisfied, even if you miss the Jama'ah. However, the majority say, Al-Madhab when you say Al-Madhab, you say Al-Hanabi. However, the majority say, it is allowed for us to eat until you can pray and while you don't think about the food. Because that's the purpose of it. Even if you miss the Jama'ah, even if you pray, then there's no problem. So the first condition is agreed upon. The second, that there is disagreement, and we go with the opinion that says that it is allowable for us to eat until inshallah we pray while we are focused. We don't have distraction, because that's the illah. That's the reason. No, it's not even about to no, to eat, but you don't let one adhan. Yes, Lord. Meaning to raise your hand. Yes, there are three things that are related about how yes, he's asking about what is the sunnah of raising your hands while you are saying Allahu Akbar. And these specific questions tell you about this questioner is concerned about the sin. Okay? The questioner, when we ask about this, you know that he is concerned about the sin. So you have a few sinners that the Sahaba who reported to us about how the Prophet ﷺ did when he raised his hand and say Allah Akbar. The first one is to make them having simultaneously. To say Allahu Akbar. Both Allahu Akbar. That's the first sunnah. It's Sahih. Ali ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. The second one is to say Allahu Akbar. So you do the takbir, then you raise your hand. The third, and this is a Muslim, عن أنس وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. The third one is the opposite. It is the what? Allahu Akbar. And this is before him. Listen. I like what we usually say. Okay? Like what we usually say. When we have this sunnah, we perform them all. Because this is of the, a variation of differences, a diversity of narrations. The Prophet ﷺ performed them all. One important thing, or one beneficial return to us of these all narrations that the Prophet ﷺ didn't perform the ibadah as a habit. Allahu Akbar. Right? But now we don't say it. Allahu Akbar. People listen to sexy. Okay? No, this is not an ibadah. Like if he raises his hand, like if he raised for a cat. No, it's not the how the Prophet said, do this. Oh, Allahu Akbar. Like this. You're going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we complain, why Muslims are in this situation? Why the core of our religion, of our way of life, is not performed properly. Then we ask, why we are struggling? Why we are this? And we are complaining about the decrees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why it is only us? Sometimes you feel this. I mean, Angolans were killed in the 1960s. 10 million people were killed. I heard about them? Only a book in the Library of Congress. Only a book. I found only a book. Well, what about Holocaust? Did they, and the majority of them were Christians, by the way. Were Christians. And they were killed by Christians. But they were the children class of humanity. Peter Talk said it in the book. They were the children class of humanity. So we were there to raise them. Since we were not able, the natural selection would impose on us to kill them. To kill them. Because this is the natural selection. God selects our behavior. It's the burden of the wise man. So, they were Christians. They were killed by Christians. In Europe, 30 years, 80 years, 100, 150 years, they were killing each other. 30, 80, 100, 150. While Muslims were moving from the east of China until the west of Morocco. Nobody would ask them even where your passport is. Are you what? Are you Mu'tazili? Nobody would ask them. Meaning to question them. So it's a period. So if we want to fix it, what about our prayer? What about our prayer? Our connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to fix it. We need to repair it in order for our way of life to return. This is not the mystical way of doing it. Change your heart and this. No, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this is the way, if you perform the salah properly, all of our actions, politically, socially. That's why Umar, he said, if I want to appoint a judge, I would see his prayer. You see, his connection to worldly life with, just for the sake of reducing the concept, with his spiritual. If the spiritual good that is expressed in the prayer, his work will be good. If he's not, he's not. So what I'm saying is that when we talk about these specific things, that how the Prophet ﷺ did, now we won't make the ibadah as a habit, just to come to pray. Even that the Sahaba reported where you even put your finger, index finger, to your shoulders or to your lip here. That's what they call it. Yeah, it was like this. Not like this. There's no narration like this. Like this. No. Like this. You don't touch your earlobes. You don't touch it. Like this. This is one narration, and the other one is to at your shoulder. It's narration. It's so perform this. Now you won't come to the prayer, Allah Akbar, or you won't do it this way. You say, I will follow the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, you're going to feel your ibadah. You're going to feel the prayer. And it's going to change you. You're going to notice that. Whatever it's going to get into Alhamdulillah, yuqsim. He used to swear by Allah. He says, if we perform the prayer, as what Allah described, as what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, Allah al-Azim will make salam, we're going to have different hearts, different way of life, than he decreed before we perform the prayer. What we didn't perform. Allah didn't say, صلوا أدوا الصلاة. He said, أقيموا الصلاة. يعني أدوها مستقيمة بشروطها وواجباتها وسننها وأركانها. That's what we are commanded. To make iqamah for the salah. Do you know that some servants, that they used to pray, the prayer will be rolled, like what the Prophet ﷺ told, meaning the paper, the script where it was written down for you, it will be rolled to the sahih, and it will be thrown in their place, and it will say to them, وَيَّعْتُ اللَّهِ كَمَا وَيَّعْتُ. So what do you? So it's not always to pray. Yes, most of we have talab, meaning that the command won't be there. But are you going to be rewarded for it? Is it going to, Allah Ta'ala يقول اتلو ما أوحي إليك من الكتاب وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. And if our prayer prevents us from fahsha and munkar, you pray, you have cigarettes at the door, and you listen to music, and you make ghiba. So that's why each other. Just get out of the message. Let me ask, is this a prayer that you perform? صلى الله عليه وسلم.